What is going on, guys? ALMD back with another video, and in today's video we are going to be going over the gameplay demo for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, some stuff we learned about it, my thoughts on some of the features, the gameplay, and just some overall excitement with the game coming out next week. Some excitement for me, some of my thoughts about it, and everything we've learned, and honestly the whole journey we've had throughout the entire process of the game being made. So really quick, guys, if you do enjoy LEGO Star Wars gameplay news and tutorials, please be sure to subscribe and like down below. We have a bunch of content on the channel about it, so thank you guys, and let's get right into the video. So first off, really, I want to just say that I'm so excited. The day is basically almost here. We're about 9 days away from the release at the time of this recording, and the past few years with all the delays and problems we hear with development of the game and pushbacks. The game was originally supposed to release 2020, then all 2021, and now we finally have a day. We're about a week away. It's just so relieving, and we actually have gameplay and news from the developers keep coming out, and it's just a huge relief. Me and my friends were talking about how this game might be a mess, and with all the delays being pushed back, all the possible problems that they've had within development, I'm just so happy to see the gameplay and how honestly, it does look well. Obviously, this is a demo, so not everything's perfect, but the way it looks, especially if you compare it to 2007, the complete saga, I mean, the graphics, the gameplay, some of the features, it just looks so much better and it looks so good, and I can't wait for it to come out on Tuesday, April 5th. But yeah, let's just get right into the demo. So when looking at the gameplay, there's obviously a few things that we have to look at, and the game, as I've said previously, I mean, it just looks absolutely fantastic. The attention to detail in this game and everything they've done just looks great. Almost everything is made out of Legos. Now, if you look at the previous games, that's not necessarily the case, but here, what they've done with the scale of it, and every single piece roughly is a Lego, and they've made it so the game is a lot more, it pops out more. There's so many more colors compared to the previous games that they've had. And if you look at the scene in the actual Star Wars movie, it's bland, it's all white. Here, what they've done is put a bunch of lights and colors, and there's the red, and then even the True Jedi. This is another thing I actually want to get into. If you look at the True Jedi thing, previous games it was just one count, and if you got all the necessary amount of studs in the level, you would get True Jedi. But here, it's broken up into 3 different sort of levels. And each time you complete a third of the amount you need for True Jedi, you're going to get a Kyber Brick, which a Kyber Brick is something you use to upgrade various characters or sets of characters like Jedi or Scoundrels. But we can get into that a little bit in the future. But now moving on to more of the combat. If you look at the combat, it is a lot more advanced than the old LEGO Star Wars. Instead of just button mashing and just constantly pressing square or X on Xbox, there's a lot more that goes into the combat. There's, as you can see on the right side, there's a combo sort of bar, and you're going to be using that multiple different combinations to do different types of damage or get different types of points and throw your enemies off, because in the game the AI is actually going to pick up on what you're doing if you keep doing the same thing. So you're going to have to change it up. It's going to force the player to do or play the game differently basically every time they fight an enemy. So it's a lot more interesting than just button mashing in the previous game. So that is another thing that is really good compared to the previous games. We didn't know that coming in, but it's so cool to see it and actually see how it's going to work. Alright, now moving on a little bit farther into the gameplay. This is another new feature that I'm super stoked about. They have upgrade systems in the game depending on certain classes. So there's a multiple different sections, as you can see here on the screen. There are the core upgrades, which is going to upgrade any character. It's simple upgrades like health and how fast you build your Legos and stuff like that. And it's going to affect every class. Now diving a little bit deeper into the classes, you can actually upgrade individual aspects of a class based on the individual uniqueness or ability one of those classes has. For instance, if you're a Jedi, you can upgrade, for instance, the Force ability or the Jedi Mind Trick Strength, possibly affecting whether it's a Stormtrooper or you can influence possibly a higher level of guard, something like that. And that's going to be available in every single class that goes Jedi, Hero, Scavenger, Scoundrel, Bounty Hunter, Villain, Dark Side, Astromech Droid, and Protocol Droid. So as you can see, they've gone pretty deep into the lengths of how many different classes there are and the different upgrades you can have available to them. And obviously, there's going to be hundreds of characters in this game. I believe there's 422 different characters. So they've really done their homework, and I think this upgrade system is not only good for the game and the development, but it's something to keep the player keep moving forward. They want that upgrade. They want to hunt for the Kyber bricks, which there are about, I believe it's 1,166 Kyber bricks in this game. So there's going to be plenty of work and plenty of stuff to do for everybody when looking at upgrading these classes. So yeah, I think that's actually a really good new feature they've added in the game, especially compared to the other Lego Star Wars games they've had. They never had anything like that, so it's really good for progression. And here's another thing that is a big quality of life feature, and I think it was pretty necessary since they've turned it into an open world game, and the world is the biggest Lego world it's ever seen. The Tatooine is massive, and other planets. Sprinting, especially with C-3PO, which is actually kind of hilarious watching it, but I think it's a huge quality of life feature that was pretty much needed, especially in this type of open world setting. So I think that's a great thing that they added. Now moving on a little bit farther into the gameplay, more in the open world Tatooine. As you can see here, you can switch characters on the fly as they switch from Luke to Qui-Gon Jinn. And he just completed a puzzle, which is an overworld puzzle. And that's how we got another Kyber brick. So these Kyber bricks are going to be all over the place in the open world, doing various puzzles like that, or missions, side quest challenges. You're going to be able to get Kyber bricks almost anywhere you go, and it's one of the coolest things. And I think that scene right there was really sweet, and it's so simple. Here's another Kyber brick right here, just in this. I don't even know what the animal is, but you have to get it somehow, and I think that's really awesome. So again, this world is massive, and the game is going to be absolutely ginormous. Now moving on farther in, it's actually when we switch to the gameplay of Anakin versus Count Dooku. Boss fights in this game are going to be totally different compared to the previous game. Again, as you can see on the right side, there is that combo screen, and the fights are obviously a lot more realistic. Here you can see a sort of standoff with the lightsabers, and the health bar is a little bit different. It is a normal health bar, but as you can see underneath, there are two sort of shields or hearts. And when you get Count Dooku down, all the way down his health, it's going to take away one of those hearts and then replenish his health. It's basically the first phase of the fight. And when he takes that out, all of his health is going to get back, and the fight is going to start its next phase. Also, another thing that was pretty funny when watching this is, if you pay attention, Obi-Wan is just kind of standing there when you're fighting Count Dooku. He does some stuff, some fighting when you're fighting the other droids, but when you're just fighting Count Dooku, he's literally just standing there. But that is the main difference when it comes to these boss fights, is the fact that you actually have to use combos and strategy when actually fighting them, as opposed to button mashing similar to the other melee combat. But there's different types of things in the fight that are going to throw you off, like Count Dooku can force choke you, or he can do super speed, like dash moves using the dark side force. And I just think it adds so much more to the game and to boss fights overall. Next, moving on to the Last Jedi section of the demo reveal, and it is a space mission. And as you can see, I don't really want to talk too much about this. It looks great. One feature I do really want to point out is the fact that you can spin your ship around and basically do 360 and fly upside down freely, because you're in space and it makes sense, as opposed to like in the mission in Revenge of the Sith, the first mission, Revenge of the Sith, and the complete saga, you could really only fly stationary. So the fact that you're able to fly freely all over the place, I think it really opens up the game, and it's going to make space travel a lot more interesting and space fights. But that's really all I want to talk about from this section. I think it looks absolutely awesome and a lot of fun, and I can't wait to see some of the other space missions they have. But there are some other things I want to get into. And one of those things that I do want to talk about is the character screen. As you can see here, as we progress a little bit more through the demo, here's the character screen, and I have a snippet of the dark side users, and as you can see, the classes are brought back up from the top. There's Jedi, Hero, Scavenger, Scoundrel, so on and so forth. And as you can see, there is a counter in each. So, for example, the Jedi, it says 33 out of 45. That means there's 45 available Jedi characters, and this person has unlocked 33 of them. However, that is not necessarily 100% the case, because if we look at the dark side section, you can see it says 5 out of 20. He has 5 characters out of 20 total dark side characters. However, if you look on the screen, there is only 9 different characters, but there's 20 different variations total. So I believe, like for Darth Vader, for instance, there is Darth Vader with the helmet, and then there's Darth Vader when he doesn't have his helmet on in Return of the Jedi, and when he's about to die. And there's multiple different versions. Like I believe Palpatine has 4 different versions. Kylo Ren has 5 different versions. So not necessarily totally 422 different characters in the game, as opposed to 422 different unique versions of that character based on clothing or their abilities. Like if you have Luke from A New Hope versus Luke from Return of the Jedi, obviously they're going to be different characters and have different sets of abilities. They're actually in 2 different classes. I believe he's just hero, regular Luke from A New Hope, and obviously Luke from Return of the Jedi is a Jedi. So that is a little bit more about the characters and how they set them up, and this is how you're going to be able to see all the characters in different sets. Then finally, to end off the demo gameplay that we were given, you are flying around Boba Fett's ship, Slave One. I don't believe they're calling it Slave One in the game, but you're flying around his ship in space. And as you can see, there's a lot going on here. First of all, you take out something called a Kyber Brick Comet, and in the Kyber Brick Comet, obviously you get a Kyber Brick, and I guess these are just going to be random throughout the game, and when you're traveling in space. I actually don't know that much about them, but it does seem to be a random encounter type of situation. And as you progress through this gameplay, there is somewhat of a side mission that is given to you. There is a bounty. There is somebody, a resistance member, who was meant to deliver some sort of equipment, and he gives you the job to do it because he can't do it. And that's how you get it's another side quest, it's another progression through the story. And again, this is just more stuff that makes the world feel more realistic, open, unique, and adaptive. It's something beyond anything we've known in any Lego game, and this is honestly probably going to be one of the most open Star Wars games that we've ever seen. Obviously, Jedi Fallen Order is one of the bigger ones, and there's so many others, but I think in terms of the open world aspect as we have right now, unless there's just one I can't think of off the top of my head, it's going to be one of the biggest open world Star Wars games that's ever been made. And I just can't wait, and I'm so excited for it. So yeah, guys, that is everything I wanted to talk about in the demo, and everything I thought was cool, everything I thought that was notable. There is one more piece of news that is a little bit disappointing in the sense that there is no online co-op. I was really looking forward to that. I thought that would have been fun. Something they should have in the game. It's something most games have, and really every game that releases now has some form of online play. But nonetheless, the silver lining is the game is finally coming out. It looks amazing. It looks like it's fun. It looks like there's going to be plenty of hours and everyone's going to spend on it. And I just can't wait to dive in and try and unlock all the characters, get through all the levels, and I'm so excited. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, again, please be sure to like, subscribe if you enjoy LEGO Star Wars content, and we will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.